All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Swarthmore League of Legends Intramural League Finals. I'm here with Now, uh, and we are the drafts are about to start. They'll be using a third-party draft, so we won't be able to see that, but Now and I will go over what's going on for both BGAK and TSM. In the coin toss, TSM won and elected to have red side first, which means they'll be blue in the second game. A little bit of confidence there as they're sacrificing blue side in first pick for both games, but that means they will be able to counterpick top in both the first and, if it happens, third game. Now, any
Yep.
thoughts on this upcoming match?
Well, I've only seen TSM play thus far. I have not seen BGAK play, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested to see what will happen. I know that TSM's top laner, as we saw in the past two matches, that he's been pretty consistent, pretty strong player.
Okay.
As well as the rest of their team. Their early game looked a bit rough in both games last time, but their mid game and late game looked really good. They looked like they really knew how to team fight and properly play map rotations and
Mm-hmm.
things. So I'm interested to see how this will play out.
Yeah, and from what I know about BGAK and their strategies, the TSM will be able to play through the bot side pretty aggressively. The BGAK tends to pick engage bot lanes with the Tristana and the Brand Vel'Koz support, so they'll have a strong bot lane. But in terms of execution, I give that to TSM. Mid lane, they don't tend to pick carries. Their mid lanes will be a Galio Malzahar, and generally or Malphite, and Malphite will build full tank there. Top lane, they'll tend to give it to a carry, either the Fiora or the Camille, and their top laner is Platinum, so he will be very strong. And then their jungler, gold player, tends to play things like Lee Sin or Graves, so farming carry-ish jungles, focused around objective control. He did pull out the Nunu once during the regular season, but apart from that, he's maintained the Graves Lee Sin picks.
Yeah, and I think Graves and Lee Sin, especially in this type of place in this type of tournament where individual players can really shine, picking hyper carries like Graves or like early game skirmishers like Lee Sin are really powerful because they can get on
Mm-hmm.
the map really quickly. They can get a really large lead, and then they can snowball that lead out of control very quickly if they're not checked. So I
And
think,
we
yeah,
saw that yesterday with BEP and their Lee Sin in the second game. Had a 402 start. Couldn't transition that into more advantages, but as you can see, that it's very strong in this current meta. And on top of that, TSM I think will stick with their front to back combination that they had last time. The Braum support maybe, but they'll bring out maybe tank middle, tank mid, tank top. Um, BGAK has tended to play a split push comp with a 3-1 with a 1-3-1. And I don't know if they're going to alter that after seeing the VODs for TSM, but I'm sure they have at least come up with some form of strategy to counter the team fight that TSM brings to the table.
yeah, I believe last time we saw Jin pop off for TSM like extremely hard, and then I believe it was Lucian, was it? I believe. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're all very aggressive bot lane. So as you mentioned before, if TSM's bot lane gets snowballing out of control, it'll be hard for BGAK to counter. But on the other hand,
Mm-hmm.
I think that BGAK also has a very good chance to do the same
Yeah,
thing in the bot
they've
lane.
they've been the dark horse pick throughout this whole tournament. No one thought I personally did not think that they were going to beat Bleed Garnett, nor that they would even make it this far in the tournament. But they've surprised each time, so I'm excited to see what they can bring today to the table.
Yeah.
Um, Again, their bot lane, which hasn't had like the skill of other bot lanes they've faced, especially with Bleed Garnett, but they've been able to overcome those differences with just good teamwork. Oh, and it looks like bans are starting right now. So let's see what they're bringing. BGAK will have the first ban, and they take out the Bard, which TSM's support is known for playing. He was banned in both games yesterday by BEP. TSM then bans out the Kayn, which is again one of their junglers' main picks, apart from the Graves and the Lee Sin. Smart. BGAK bans out the Ari. Yesterday, you saw the 8-0 and 4 Ari. That was devastating. The Galio also coming in for TSM. their mid laners known for playing the Galio as well as the Malphite Malzahar. Um, BGAK takes the Vayne off the table, getting rid of a late game hyper carry that can shred through the tanks of TSM. And TSM will ban out the Pantheon. Uh, Very flexible pick these days. I've seen him taken top. Thundero, actually, one of our fellow commentators, is very known for taking them top. BGAK will pick the Nami bot lane. That's interesting. They haven't done that at all.
Yeah,
TSM picks up the Jin. So they had success with that in the first game. Got him fed 7-2 and 1, and they'll pick up the Nautilus. So that's a very aggressive, strong bot lane. Into a Nami, they'll have a lot of priority.
yeah. So the Nami is generally wants to sustain in lane, but she's very prone to getting hooked. She's not very tanky, and if she does get
Mhm.
hooked, she'll get rooted up by Nautilus, rooted up by Jin, and
I'm
probably one shot.
Oh my god.
Um,
Okay, Bagak has picked up the Vladimir and the Ashe. They're going for a passive farming, scaling bot lane, and they won't have as much prio into the Jhin or the Nautilus. This is interesting. It contradicts everything they've been playing recently, which with the brand Vel'Koz bot lane.
yeah,
Uh,
the Fiddlesticks will be coming out for TSM, followed by the Nautilus or the Nocturne ban. So as you can see, already Lux ban comes out from Begak and TSM's turn to ban. So already TSM is drafting a heavy engage comp. They banned out the Fiora now,
yeah, that
and
is the Bagak's top laner's main pick. Very strong on it.
yep. So as we can see, it's going to be a scaling composition for Begak side, a more of an aggressive engage composition for TSM,
Mhm.
though their comp does scale very well so far as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm actually impressed that Bagak would pick their top laner so much. Do you think the Vladimir will be flexed into the mid lane, or do you think he'll play
I think
top?
most Vladimirs tend to go top these days. I know there's this challenger.
Oh,
There's
they
this
banned the
challenger
Seraphine as well.
Vlad.
They maybe weren't aware that the Seraphine is banned in this competition, but
That's
well,
okay.
we'll have to let them know that coming up.
Yeah,
Um,
Vlad is mostly a top laner. There's a challenger who goes Vlad mid only, but generally it's much easier for Vlad to just farm up safely in the top lane without much interference from the jungler. Also, he won't have priority, so that matters less in the top lane because you really want a strong mid laner to get you priority. Annie will come
TSM will
out for
pick the Owie,
TSM,
and that is deadly for the
and
Nami and the Ashe. Flash
yeah.
Ultimate Tibbers is never a good time.
I think Annie
Um,
is really underrated in a lot of situations. I think here Annie's probably she's probably okay to pick here. It goes with the general theme of TSM's composition, which is we want to engage on you. So I think Annie works really well with that.
mhm. And I'm actually going to let the other team know that the Seraphine is banned from this, um,
Yep.
so they can have
Okay, so Olaf comes out. As you mentioned, heavy skirmish farm early game jungler will come out for Begak.
and that can get the
Um,
Vladimir, Ashe, and Nami rolling, especially with the
yeah.
heavy engage with the Jhin and the Nautilus. Olaf will
Al-
be able to tip the sides in the bot lane as well.
Although I think and Darius will come out for as the final
So
pick for
it is a
Begak.
Vladimir in the mid lane. I think the Darius will go top.
Yep. So interesting
There
comp from Bagak's side. I think
three hyper carries, a keep you
looks.
healed all the time support, and an
Ooh,
Olaf.
Malphite will come in for TSM. All right.
So
So yeah, trying
TSM's going
to.
with the much more traditional team fighting comp with the Nautilus Malphite to lead the front line, Jin Annie to pick off any stragglers, and the Fiddlesticks to start the engage. Uh, I like TSM's comp for its
Oh
tools.
yeah, it's
It does a
much
lot more.
TSM's comp. TSM definitely outdrafted Bagak here.
Yeah,
Just looking at the comp,
much easier to
Vladimir.
execute.
Yeah, and Vladimir and Ashe are scaling champions along with Nami. And then you have Olaf, which doesn't really fit into the general theme of their composition, which is like late game team fights and such. And then you have Darius, which is like a pseudo tank, but not exactly a tank.
Mhm.
Annie, Fiddle, and Jin will be able to burst him down really fast.
And I
Plus,
worry
there's a
this is going
lot
to be the
not.
same thing that happened with BEP yesterday. TSM had the easier comp to execute on with their front to back. They had the Malphite, and they had who was their other support? If I don't, I'm not. I
It
think it.
was Nautilus and Malphite, I believe.
Yeah, again, similar comp.
Yep.
Uh,
And yeah, so
so they'll have the
the
easy front to back to play, and Bagak will have to play around harder engage tools. I'm looking to the Nami ultimate as well as Olaf running at them as fast as he can.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think Nami
Is them
engage tool is
engaging.
very consistent, is the problem. And Olaf running at them, well, you'll just get shut down by Jin Annie really,
Mhm.
really fast. So the yeah, I think you mentioned it. I think that's what you mentioned. BGAK, their main weakness is that they have very little engage potential. Like they can't be the ones to engage a fight, but also they have less range than TSM because TSM has the pick potential,
with
and
the
as
Annie
well as
and the
the
Nautilus,
yeah,
and the
exactly.
Malphite. But then they also have the team fight with the Malphite, Fiddlesticks, Nautilus, Jhin.
Yep.
Well, BGAK will have a bunch of tools that don't fully fit together because
So one thing Bagat can do is they can try and use the Olaf to try and accelerate either Vladimir or Darius and get them really ahead. If either of those champions
mhm,
get really far ahead, then Bagat should have a pretty easy time just steamrolling through TSM because Vladimir is just going to go unchecked, or Darius is just going to start getting 5 stacks and dunking people left and right. The problem is that if they play safely, if TSM plays safely and just plays around their stronger bot lane, it should be
mhm.
it's not very easy for Bagak to. I mean, how are you gonna
Which
gank a Malphite
again,
under
I think
tower,
this is
right?
why they opted to not take the brand Vel'Koz support and instead go for the Nami for the scaling safety, which is actually a smart play. Same with the Ashe. Tristana, has so many inting tools in her kit that she's almost forced to int to engage. Well, the Ashe can stand a million miles behind and shoot and just shoot her W and auto attacks to farm. So again, I think they're trying to negate those weaknesses in the bot side and use the Olaf to get the Vladimir and Darius ahead. I think that Bagak definitely outscales TSM. Late game, Darius, Vladimir, and Ashe will definitely beat out the Jin and the Malphite scaling.
Eh,
Um,
I think it's close. I don't. I think because Annie is such a late game threat, Jin scales super well, and Malphite is not actually like nothing on Bagak's team consistently kills Malphite. So I think it's a lot closer. But yeah,
mhm. And also, Smori, if you checked your league, I've sent you an invite to the game.
I believe I am in the spectator.
No, that is Kevin's
Oh,
game.
okay. I see. Okay, cool. All right.
I'm in the actual one, and I've sent you both invites.
Yep. I believe I
Caleb,
am
if you
in
got that
now.
as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing again TSM, the simpler comp. They've kind of gotten that down previously. They took off the Fiora split push, as well as the Galio for disrupting their team fight front to back. I don't really think BGAK has many tools to hit that back line if they get into a full 5v5 team fight. Uh, Ash Arrow Vladimir could go untargetable to get back there, but apart from that, unless they hit a clutch Nami ultimate, I think TSM is going to steamroll any team fight unless you have a fed Vladimir or Darius.
Hmm. In terms of lane, let's take a look at the lane assignments real quick. Darius will always bully out Malphite, but he shouldn't really get any early kills on Malphite because Malphite can just play safely. If Darius engages on him, Malphite presses E, Qs, and runs away really fast. But yeah, Darius will have Prio, so Olaf can look to play through there. Annie does absolutely destroy Vladimir in the early game. So Annie will have Prio. And it's not easy to kill Vladimir, of course, but Annie should find herself a good lane.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at the jungle, Olaf will always destroy Fiddlesticks in a 1v1. That's just what Olaf
Yeah.
does. I don't think.
Fiddlesticks needs his level 6 before he can really affect the match.
Yep.
So I would like to see the Olaf try and take advantage of that early game and take camps and invade to get him behind. A
Yeah.
perma invade strategy might be best. Maybe go red blue into invade or even
Um,
vertically jungle.
yeah, I think Olaf, what he really needs to do is play around the top side of the map where he has
Mm-hmm.
Prio with Darius and just look to permanently camp Malphite and get his Darius ahead. It's not easy to gank for Vladimir into Annie because none of Olaf or and Vladimir both don't have hard crowd control. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really
And the
not
Annie
easy to make
does.
a gank work. Yeah, so it's not easy to gank an Annie as Vlad Olaf, but if you play
Mm-hmm.
around your Darius, it's
I
a lot
will say
easier.
once 6 comes through for Ash Nami, ganking bot side becomes a lot more feasible.
Yeah.
Especially if you can land an Ash into arrow into Nami ulti, Olaf will have a field day down there.
Yep.
But until then, Nautilus Jin will have Prio in the bot lane, especially with
Oh,
level
dang,
1.
the Jack's coming out. Hello?
What?
Um, I see a
Um,
Jax.
I see a Jax as well. Perhaps they did a placement ban. I'm not sure what they just did. Did they alter their bans?
Well, I guess they're redrafting. Um, well, Oh, I guess they're drafting Jax.
Well, if you see, we've been talking about the Malphite, but they just picked up the heavy split push engage Jax, which honestly maybe sacrifices their team fight a little bit. I'm gonna
We'll
reach
see
out
what
to their team
happens.
captain really quickly.
I guess the we got trolled. The bans were
We
fake
did.
bans,
Um,
but yeah. But if we are talking about the Jax versus Darius matchup, Jax still loses the matchup, so it shouldn't really change the dynamic of top
mhm.
lane too
He
much.
does.
And
Yeah, and again, I am very confused as to what's going on, and I've reached out to both teams to see what's happening. So we'll figure that out momentarily, and I will let you all know what's going on. Okay, apparently they misclicked and selected the Malphite instead of the Jax. I'm not
oh,
sure how
okay,
that's possible, but they'll have the Jax instead of the Malphite.
all
Um,
right. Everything else should be the same. In that
okay,
case,
so how does that change their fighting potential instead of the Malphite? They lose a
well,
bit of engage.
honestly, Jax is really good into Ashe, Olaf, Darius, right? Because they auto attack so much, and Jax is just really, really good into auto attackers, and Vladimir doesn't really kill Jax. So I think Jax is a fine pick here.
Mhm.
Um,
Does it stop their team fighting as much with less of a front to back
Probably
combination?
not. It's probably fine. I think Darius is just as long as Darius doesn't get too far ahead, Jax is just infinitely stronger than Darius.
Mhm.
Just because Darius isn't that great of a champion in terms of team fighting because he can
Don't let
fight it
Thundero
really
hear
easily.
that. Although I will admit that is true after our match with him.
The problem is Darius is strong, but individually, but in team fights he gets kited really easily because he has no real mobility options. So
Mhm.
people at like Jin and Annie and can just keep him at arm's bay, and Darius finds it really hard to get onto the backline.
Especially if
Um,
Fiddlesticks is able to land an ultimate onto him. And I think it'll be best for them to focus the Vladimir and the Darius during these fights.
yeah, so I mean, just looking at this, I still think TSM definitely comes out with draft advantage.
Absolutely.
Um, but what will change this a little bit is now Jax is a lot harder to gank than a Malphite.
Yeah, he won't
Jax
have
will
that
just
topside advantage that he did with the Malphite.
yeah, Jax will just press E and then he'll Q to a minion and get out. Darius will still have priority, but it's going to be a lot harder for Olaf to play around topside. So I'm not
And again, which
exactly sure.
is and I think that the Olaf again should adopt the strategy of taking camps and just perma invading because Fiddlesticks,
Yeah,
if put is easy to put behind him, cannot fight an Olaf at any cost early game. I actually think that they might look to invade early on.
the
They've done this in the past before, and I think that it would be a very strong strategy against them.
The problem with that is that Vladimir is absolutely useless in the early game.
Hmm.
So Annie will have a lot of prio. So if you try and invade as Olaf, Annie will always be on the first to rotation, and she has a lot of burst. Plus, I imagine she'll be taking Ignite, which is a pretty hard counter to Olaf. So Olaf needs to be a little careful because between Fiddle and Annie, there is a lot of CC for TSM. So
Yeah,
it's
there
very easy
is a
for
little bit
Olaf.
of a lack of synergy in these picks.
Yeah, there will be
Whereas,
a lot of CC, and Olaf will probably like. It's very likely that Olaf can get caught out and die in invades.
exact well, as you're saying, because the Jax and the Darius will go even top lane. The Nautilus and Jin will ensure that bot lane will have prio, so he can invade back there. And the Annie is in a state that she'll be able to cover any invade. So the Olaf is losing a lot of his value there. Uh, it would have been better to have at least a mid laner that can counter the Annie early game. Something, uh, maybe a Zoe pick. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I mean, generally any counters are longer range control mages, something like Syndra, something like Orianna, Vel'Koz, Xerath,
mhm.
because Annie is really short ranged. The problem is Vladimir is also short range, so you need to step up to her Q range if you want to Q her.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't really. I'm not a big fan of this Vlad pick. Also, I'm generally just
Oh, hold
um,
on. We've messed this up. The Vladimir will be going top lane with Ian. The mid lane will be the Darius.
Are you sure about
I
that?
am. Their mid laner is Andy Wu Rocks. Their top laner is Ian Chen 20. Vladimir will be into the Jacks.
I think that's even
Darius will
worse.
be into. It is worse, which is why we weren't expecting it.
Well, I think it's safe to say Annie hard counters Darius until Darius
Yes,
buys Merc Tread, and it's very, very safe to say that Vladimir gets
stomped
destroyed by
on by
Jax.
Jacks. Yeah.
Yeah,
So this has gone from bad to worse for BGAK. I think early game will be an absolute blowout, and
I mean, it
I'm
depends on what
hesitant to
Olaf
think that
manages to do. I think if that's the case, then this entire game just depends on what Olaf. I
it
think.
is. If Olaf can get them is can stabilize the early game, they have a shot, right? Because
Yeah.
with scaling that the Vladimir, the Ashe, that and the Darius brings, they can stabilize and win. But if Olaf can't and he dies in the jungle too much, then they're screwed.
Yeah. So I was not expecting the Darius mid, but
I've never seen this, to be honest,
um.
and that's because it's generally a really bad pick.
Okay, so let's see. Jax is okay. So the way I see this game playing out is that Olaf actually has a lot of gank opportunities now though because probably like all the lanes are going to be shoved, so Olaf is going to have to gank, and we'll just
Hmm.
see if those ganks are going to be successful. Because if the ganks are successful, Olaf gets ahead, his laners get ahead, and it's actually really really powerful because a fed Olaf is very scary. But if he doesn't manage to get many successful ganks off, or if Fiddle manages to match him properly,
Hmm.
yeah, it'll be really, really hard for BGAK to do much.
And
Um,
again, the Jhin
yeah,
also has the scaling runes as compared to the Ashe. The Ashe will take inspiration for the approach velocity, but Jhin will have sorcery as his secondary, and he'll be able to take Gathering Storm, which gives him more than an item's worth of AP as the game progresses. So the Jhin will scale much harder than the Ashe into the late game, which again is I think is a mistake on the part of Bagak. If they're going for the scaling comp, but they take the early game runes on the Ashe.
yeah, I think so. I think Ash just wants to be able to survive in lane, so she's probably taking like biscuits and
Approach
maybe
velocity in
approach
all levels.
velocity because she slows people with auto attack, so approach velocity will help her stick on targets, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I think it's fine. I'm more concerned that um, I'm more concerned about Darius because he's taking Conquer and Bone Plating, which means that he will have some survivability in lane, but he's taking the Ghost in the mid lane. And if he
Mhm.
actually is going mid, Ghost is not something that you really want to take as a
Especially because
bruiser
you
mid
won't be able to
lane.
run the Annie down in the mid lane. She has the short trade electrocute runes, and I'm assuming she's taking also minion DMAT. So she'll A have the push and B be able to get away from the Darius if he tries to run her down.
Yeah, so if this was top lane, it'd be different because top lane's a lot longer, so you can actually run people down with Ghost. But in the mid lane, Annie is like 5 feet away from her tower at like all times, so it's actually makes
Mhm.
Ghost less optimal, I think.
Yeah,
But
so we've loaded in, and don't forget to move
yeah,
your
so
stop.
hopping into the game, we
Mhm.
see we can look. I guess we'll take a little look at the starting items. Jin will not be going for the boots and 4 pots build. Instead, he'll be going for the D blade. Everything else looks pretty standard. Annie is not going to go corrupting potion. Vladimir will be going Cull, which I think is a really big mistake. I think you really need survivability against Jax, but we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I think
Mhm.
overall,
And just to sync times, are you at 44 right now?
yep, 44,
Okay.
46, 47. Yep.
So Olaf is backed for his sweeper, or yeah, and he's headed, I think, for a leash on his red. They actually, are, I think, yeah, and TSM is expecting the invade, so they're hovering 4 members on the bot side.
Oh, it
But
looks like it will be Vlad mid. Okay, okay, thank you.
oh, they've swapped their top and mid laners
Yep.
in this. Oh, they're going for an early vision mission. Um,
All right. So yeah, this is
okay.
more what we expected. They just swapped. Yep.
which theoretically is allowed. You can swap laners in positions, but
Yeah. In that case, Vladimir's call seems to make a lot more sense. Anya's playing actually really respectful of Vladimir, which I don't agree with. I think she should be a lot more aggressive. She really wins those early lane trades against Vlad, so
yep. And both junglers will get a healthy leash. Fiddlesticks a little bit more than the Olaf. I think he's heading through his Krugs. I'm not sure if he's going for a full clear. That may not
yeah,
be the best
generally Krug
idea.
signals that he wants to full clear, which is actually really bad for Fiddle, because if Fiddle is also going for the full clear, then he'll meet at the top scuttle. They'll meet at the top scuttle crab, which Olaf will definitely be able to win that fight. So
Yep.
I
And
think Olaf comes out on top here.
yep, and on the bot side, there's been some early trades. No sums exchanged, but Jin was able to land his force shot on the Ashe, which is forced her to use. No, she actually wasn't forced to use anything. Apologies. Same goes in the mid lane. There's early skirmishing. Vladimir, of course, is going to take the worst of those trades early on.
Yep.
Although the Jax has been shoved under his tower, which I think he'll be able to farm the way without any problems. He just uses auto attack reset.
Yeah, so Darius actually messing up the top wave a little bit, but it looks like that Jax is still gonna be. He's still gonna have prio, regardless. Oh, Jack's going in for a trade. I think he. Oh, Jack's just taking a really bad trade there. Yeah.
Yep.
Darius
Going in
playing
for
that.
another one. Yeah. He's level
Ooh,
3.
a hook lands
Bot
onto Ashe
side,
in the bot lane. Oh,
heavy fighting.
Jin missed. Jin missed the W on a rooted target. It's a little interesting. I think Ashe would have to definitely burn a sum there
Yep, if he landed that root. But apart from that, not much lost. Although, as we expected, TSM has the advantage in the bot lane, and they'll hold that for the foreseeable future. Top lane,
Yeah.
Jax is trading. His
Jax is just hard out trading Darius playing in this lane. Darius is messing up his lane. I think Darius is the thing about Darius is that he's prematurely pressing Q, and then Jax just moves out of the way and then jumps on Darius once the Q is finished.
Yep.
And now a fight will break out for the top scuttle crab. Olaf will get the top scuttle, but as we said before, look, Annie has the prio. She's the first one to move, forces Olaf to burn off flash, and now they go onto Olaf. Ashe ignites with the Q, and Olaf will be taken down. This is exactly what we were talking about before. Annie has the mid-game prio, so even though Olaf technically wins in the 1v1, the Fiddlesticks is much, much stronger when you have a strong mid laner like Annie compared to the Vladimir. So First Blood going off to Annie is really, really big. Olaf also has to burn his flash for that, while Fiddle still has his flash.
Yep, Annie had to burn her flash, though, so that leaves her vulnerable for a little while. But
it should be no big deal,
right now. Yeah, Vladimir won't be able to do much against her.
Oh, hook lands in the bot lane. Now the root actually comes out. Ashe is going to take a really big chunk here. Has to burn the heal.
Jin can land the 4-shot.
Oh, but Olaf is coming in for the gank. Oh, Jin bursts both sums, and it looks like Nautilus should be dead here. Oh, never mind. Nautilus should be escaped.
And you can see lack of flash means there. Oh, we missed that completely. Gank in the mid lane.
Yeah.
And then now Vladimir is dead. This has been a...
Jeez, it's so bloody.
This has been a bloody early game. The Nautilus went down. The Vladimir went down. He'll walk back to lane. He shouldn't lose much with this lane. He might lose a little
Jin
bit.
will lose a lot, actually. The wave is frozen against him, so he's actually going to suffer quite a bit here. But I think what happened in the mid lane is that Vladimir is just randomly using his pool to trade with Annie, which is something generally you shouldn't do because that leaves you vulnerable to gank. So I think what's happened is that Vladimir used his pool to trade with Annie, and then Fiddlesticks walked out after the pool was finished, and then they just killed Vladimir. Vladimir did not burn flash in that gank, so I think he just knew that he was going to die no matter what. So he saved his flash, will walk back to lane, collect the leftovers of the CS, but now he's really far behind.
If you can see crucially in the bot lane, the vision control that their bot lane has been able to put up, both around the lane and on Dragon, means that Olaf won't be able to use his early pressure to get those objectives bot side. And same with, even on the top side, the vision control put down by TSM means Olaf's going to have a very hard time moving in for invades. Both his avenues to enter the jungle are warded. Same with bot side, there are wards. So it's going to be quite difficult for the Olaf to exert his pressure in any way on other parts of the map.
Yep, and as you can see, as we expected, Jax is just always shoved into tower, which means that Darius will have absolutely no way to Olaf will have no way to gank that. And as you said, the bot lane's very
Although,
safe.
as you can see, Fiddlesticks is headed that way right now.
Yep, Darius is pushed up. Darius is not level 6, crucially, while Jax is level 6, so
They've
Darius will
spotted him
play
out.
extremely.
They'll get vision and back away.
Yep, but yeah, Jax has level 6. Darius does not. Now Jax can just what Jax should do right here is he should reset, and he should just TP back with a superior item lead, because Darius does not have TP. So Jax should, but instead he's going to opt to stay in, collect some more of the CS. This is dangerous, though. Darius can kill Jax here. Yeah, Jax should be careful.
Yeah, it looks like Jax is taking your advice, TPing back, and he'll have the advantage in any fight from now on.
Yep. He will, let's see, he backs with 43 CS. He'll get full ninja tablets. I don't like that, actually. I really don't like
ninja
tablets here. Because the problem with the...
Oh, if you look bot side, fight's going on. Jin's about half health.
Ash has no heal. Ash has no heal, but Jin has no sunk either. And
Jin will have to back off this.
Yeah.
Incredible. BGAK has been able to outtrade on the bot side, and Jin has no potions to heal himself back up. He has to back or suffer with no health, giving complete lane control over to the bot side.
I think the main problem here is that no one took Ignite in the bot lane. I think Nautilus has to take Ignite here, right? Because you're against the Nami. You're against Nami healing.
Has Ignite, and she used it on the Jin.
I think Nautilus has to take Ignite instead of Exhaust, because you're against the Nami who can heal so much. So I think in these early trades, it's so much more valuable than taking Exhaust. And now, yeah, this is the problem.
Yep.
Yeah. So now Nautilus can never...
They've been knocked out of
lane. Top is fighting. Top is all inning. Oh, just kidding, they're not.
Yeah. Again, the Annie's rotating down. So is the Olaf. They forced the flash from the Nautilus.
Annie,
this is dangerous.
Annie! Ow! Wait,
double kill.
Huge.
That is an excellent trade by the Ashe. I like that aggression, trading flash and a death for a 2-for-1 kill.
Yeah, she knew she was dead. They knew Annie was coming, so she just went full committal. Now Vlad gets to get free farm in the mid lane, and
this won't net a
Jin
plate.
loses
It
a
will
lot.
let him the CS advantage. Although Annie has 2 kills and first blood, which means she should have the advantage. Although that might be made up by Cole, which he's close to getting actually.
Yeah, just 41 more CS, and he'll have his call. Okay, so what I was talking about earlier with why I don't like Ninja Tappy versus Darius, if Darius gets 5 stacks on you, you die anyway. Like, it doesn't matter how much armor you have. Once Darius has 5 stacks on you, you never win the trade. So the whole point is you have to try and kill Darius before he gets 5 stacks to you. So I think it's much better in this situation to just get flat out damage and just try and rush your Triforce. But on the other hand, look at how Jax is just out trading Darius right now. Darius just has no way to play against Jax anymore because Jax is just ahead of him.
Yep.
Like even though he built Ninja Tablets. Yeah. So Darius
is able to come with Phage and Sheen.
Oh, but look at the jungle. Fiddlesticks caught out and he'll just insta die. Tibbers will come out, but I think Annie's just dead here. I don't think Vlad. Yeah. Ooh! Snipe from downtown, but Vlad will get
the snipe! The snipe.
And Vlad will die to Tibbers, but yeah. That was a really good trade. It's been
disastrous for TSM. BGAK is playing extremely well.
Yeah, I think at this point, TSM's only hope is probably their top lane Jax outscaling Darius.
It's a big wave, though, that the Vladimir is missing.
Yeah, but Olaf will be able to pick it up, so I think it's okay.
It'll net plating for them.
More crucially, they'll be missing a wave in the bot lane. So that means
they'll be able to get vision and clear out. The Ashe also is extremely strong right now with 4 kills. She has both her Bilgewater Cutlass and her recurve bow, as opposed to Jin just with the pickaxe and the boots. And I'm actually not a fan of taking full boot items on ADCs early in the game. It means that they're getting back from their 1-item power spike, which is a huge spike in the bot lane, and can mean that literally when Ashe will have her Bork, they will not be able to fight her at all. Whereas Jin is going to have to wait a while for his, I'm thinking, Infinity Edge with the pickaxe. So I'm not a fan of them buying that, especially because with the slightly magical boots, and Ashe loses virtually nothing for not going for them.
I think it's a little different for Jin because Jin does get extra damage from his from move speed. So I think it's okay on Jin, but you're right. Also, I think a lot of ADCs these days will opt for the earlier power spike and they'll rush Berserker Greaves because it gives you a lot more damage early. So I think it just depends on what your playstyle is. Jin just wants the... okay, so fight will happen in top lane. And yeah, Darius is just getting hard out traded by Dash. There's nothing he can do.
And if you can see in the bot side, Fiddlesticks was able to get down there clear vision, while also...
Vlad might be dead.
He uses his
Vlad
pool.
might be dead. No, Vlad,
No.
Vlad is close to dead. He will miss this huge wave, the
Yep,
next
but
wave, and he'll lose power plating.
he has TP up, so he'll be able to come back to lane. And Fiddlesticks exerting his pressure, stealing some camps away from the Olaf, who's not in the area.
Yeah, we talked about how Olaf was gonna invade, but it looks like Fiddle's also invading, and they're gonna be splitting the map a little bit. Olaf will be coming to take red away from Fiddlesticks. As you can see, he's waiting for Fiddlesticks to come here so he can kill him, but Fiddlesticks is nowhere near that side of the map, so Olaf's just gonna opt to take the red and be satisfied with that. Meanwhile, Jack's playing a little more relaxed in the top lane, knowing that Olaf's probably around the area, so
Yep,
he's
and
playing a
mid
little
lane,
less aggressive.
going for the early needlessly large. He's going. What item do you think he's building with that? He's not going for death.
This oh wait,
Oh,
Ashe is dead.
Spellbinder.
Wait, Ashe is dead. Hold on. Oh, never mind.
No.
Wait, Jin is dead. They're both dead. But Jin will get the shutdown, so worth for Jin.
No. And is the Nautilus dead? This was
No,
a not a good
Nautilus
trade.
beats Nami here, right? If he gets a shield up.
No, he's dead.
Shield. Oh, whoa! How close
Oh,
was the shield?
and Hellman will get the kill.
I still think it's worth
not great
for,
bot lane, to be honest. I didn't
think it's
enjoy
worth
that
for
fight.
Jin.
Was it worth? I mean,
He got the
gave
shutdown.
for a kill. He did get a shutdown. You're right.
So Jin ends up with more gold than Ashe in that trade, which is the important part.
But they traded 1 for 2.
Yeah, but
And
you
again,
don't really care about gold on Nami, right? So I think it's a.
That's true. But you can also see in the mid lane, you're right. He's using his pool to trade with with Annie, which is leaving him vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. So now for like the next 15 seconds or something, Vlad is going to be really, really weak to an Annie engage, especially that Annie has Ignite now. So I think trading like that with Annie is probably not smart, Vladimir's side, but that's what he will be
Although
doing.
even with the shutdown, Ashe will still be a lot stronger than the Jhin. She has her board
She has
as
her
well as the
full
Cloak of
board, yeah.
Agility, and he only has a BF sword, right? So even if he got the shutdown, Ashe got the kill, which means she'll be able, and then was able to fully purchase the fork and fully reset. So I'm still not a big fan of that fight there.
Yeah, and meanwhile, in the top lane, Jax is still just completely destroying Darius, which is not really what we expected to see at all, but
No.
it looks like that, because they... Oh, it was a counter pick, that is true. So, oh, Nautilus and Jhin are caught out. Nautilus is just dead.
Yeah, this will be a Nautilus kill for sure.
He will be sacrificed to save Jhin. But
Yep,
Ashe
and with that,
6-2, guys. 6-2.
This is
That's
not what I
insane.
expected at all.
Oh,
The
Arrow
bot lane
coming?
is
And he's
pulling out
dead.
some magic. And
And
he's
he's
hit.
dead. And he's just
Yeah,
dead.
flashed by him, Olaf.
No.
Dead,
Oh,
dead.
Fiddle's dead.
Yeah, this is.
I think TSM's running it a little bit.
TSM is falling apart. Oh, is this a dead Jhin? This is a dead Jhin. No, it's not.
Nah, there's no Ashe Arrow. Oh my god, the Jin's actually dead. You're right.
No,
oh
he's dead. He's dead.
The blade of the
Oh my
rune
gosh. The blade of the rune can all damage. This is not the TSM of yesterday. They came to play against BEP. They were ready. They were on point. They were executing well. And during this game, they have not played a good one at all.
I think they're a little bit tilted. Yeah, the Herald will come down.
Going down bot side. I think this will be bot tower, first tower gold going over.
Oh, Darius popping Ghost against Jax. Jax has to flash out against Darius.
He's going back. Will this be a solo kill? No. He'll escape, but
yeah, that's why. Yeah,
and that will be a flash for a Ghost. A very good trade for the Darius.
Yep. Jax overextending a little bit.
And now in the last 5 minutes, this has been a disaster for TSM. The gold lead, which they had at about a 1.6k gold lead, has swung to
4,000 deficit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's swung into the favor of BGAK. The Ashe which was I thought was the weaker pick into the Jhin and to the Nautilus, is proven to be devastating, and now we'll be able to take over the game with a 7-2 lead.
And Vlad is ahead of Annie now in terms of XP and CS.
Yep.
And he's finished his call, which means that even though Annie's up 3 kills,
she has the Sork boots, but he has the Spellbinders, which will give him arguably more utility, more damage than the Luden's Echoes.
Yeah, I don't think now they're gonna just fight over Infernal, which is like there's no way that TSM can test here.
They're looking.
Ashe is just way too strong.
But Ashe is way too strong. I think Fiddles may ulti. The curtain call will open. He's trying for the steal. They'll steal it.
That arrow lands.
Oh,
Jhin
that
will be caught out. I think Jhin.
No.
Oh, Jin's dead and Nautilus is dead.
That's a double kill in the bot lane, a 2-for-0 trade.
There's no bot lane tower. They're going.
That is
Yeah,
ultimate
good.
tippers coming out, and that means that the bot lane will be able to escape with their lives. But this is just snowballing out of control in the direction of BGAK.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
this is completely unexpected.
I think this game is just over at this point.
I
I don't
honestly,
think.
the scaling is in the hands of BGAK. We mentioned earlier that if they got ahead on their Vladimir, on their Ashe, and on their Darius, it's game over. And they've gotten ahead on both the Vladimir and the Ashe, especially the Ashe. Olaf has been able to affect map pressure in a way that everyone else is not. I'm props to BGAK for being able to do this. They had the harder comp and the harder execution. And they've been able to just dominate TSM.
Yeah. I mean, a small part, no small part in thanks to the fact that TSM ran it a little bit in the past like 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely. This is not the team of yesterday.
BGAK playing
They are
really
not playing
well.
their best.
Yeah, but
Hopefully, in
BGAK is
game two
also
they can
playing
pick it
really
up.
well.
Um,
And yeah, I mean, just take a look at the items, right? Vladimir's working on getting his Rabadon's death cap. Already got his needlessly large
they're actually
rod.
about even in the mid lane because the Oblivion Orb is about 1600, and he's still a little bit ahead of the Vladimir with the 1250 coming through for the Spellbinder as well. Although he opted for the Dark Seal for the utility and extra damage early game.
Yeah.
The real disparity is coming in the jungle, and with Olaf already having his completed jungle item, Hex Drinker, and Ninja Tab Eyes, versus Fiddlesticks only having his jungle item and Boots of Speed. So the Olaf will be able to win anything over the Fiddlesticks. And in the bot lane, especially, 2 items onto the Ashe versus just the Infinity Edge on the Jhin.
Yeah, and look at that. While TSM tried to contest Herald, Vladimir is getting free farm in the bot lane, which is absolutely huge.
And he might get this tower down. The Annie's here to contest.
Oh my, look at that chunk. Annie has no way of oh my, look at that. Oh, wait a second. Vlad,
she was forced to ultimate to survive, although...
Vlad pooling a little too prematurely. So that he would just get one shot by Annie. A little cocky, but that's okay, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they still have the 4K gold lead. So what do you think?
And the top lane, meanwhile, wait, this is all in in the top lane.
Ultimate coming out, Flash coming out from the Darius to escape. Both traded heavily against. Will the bleed take him out?
Nope.
No,
but Darius will lose his splash and go for that.
If you see the curtain call opening, they're shooting blindly to take out the Darius, but the Darius will escape.
That was an interesting curtain call.
I mean, it's worth the shot. They're desperate at this point.
You can see the question marks coming out from BGAK on the Jhin's curtain call. Where are you aiming that? But
yeah, I mean, what do you think, if any way, for BGAK to come, for TSM to come back, where would it be?
I mean, it has to be through either Jax split pushing, or them finding a really good pick with Fiddlesticks, like really good team fight with Fiddlesticks and. It has to be one of those two. That's the only possible way.
But the thing is, we have the Vladimir and the Darius to match that split push, right? And then
Jax right now, I think Jax for the rest of the game cannot lose in the side lane at this point. Like Jax has his Triforce completed, has his Ninja Tab Eyes. He can't lose in the split anymore. So they have to play around that. But yeah, as we saw earlier, Darius all in with everything. But
again, with the mobility of the Olaf, I mean, Olaf will be able to collapse easily on that split push, and he can trust that the Ashe, with her how far ahead she is, will be able to get out. Interesting going from Merc Treads on the Ashe as opposed to Berserk Creeps.
I would be extremely scared of a Fiddlesticks Annie Nautilus if I were this Ashe, so I agree with that choice.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Merc Treads should be coming out across the board. You can see that Darius, Vladimir, and Ashe all have Merc Treads because
Nami's the only one that doesn't with the Boots of Mobility, but if she's playing it right, she won't get caught out by anybody.
Yeah, there's just so much crowd control and engage on TSM side.
Arrow
the arrow will go wide. That is, I believe we call that Crowny's Comet. But Dragon will be coming up very soon. We're going to be fighting over that. Jax getting a little more far. Okay, so the thing is, Jax doesn't have TP for this fight, so there's no way that TSM can contest this because Jax can't make.
And they'll summon the Rift Herald in the mid lane. That'll be mid tower gone, and
Jhin might just be dead here. Oh no, Jhin burns his cleanse and will escape, but Jhin is out of the fight, meaning that it's a free Ocean Dragon. Meaning
Crucially, they'll get that second proc onto the mid tower. In fact, they might even get the mid tower down with this. No, they won't. But they'll. The mid tower, his second tier turret is almost dead. So it's a great trade for BGAK. They got both Dragon and almost the mid tier 2 down.
Yep. And oh, I think
snowball they lose.
yeah. So Jax has to burn his ultimate right there, which is yeah. Jax isn't winning as hard as he would like in the top lane.
Yep, and Darius
can't really make
has his ultimate
oh,
up
Jax is just
a second.
Jax might be dead, or Jax might be dead here. Nope.
Yeah, Ash slow.
Jax
he burns his flash.
Jax is dead. Jax is fine.
Yeah, it burns his flash.
Oh wait, no, ultimate comes out on Ash. Ash flashes out of the way. Olaf comes in.
Olaf flash in. That's a dead Nautilus. Jin with his 4 shot, he's gonna aim it on the Nautilus, but yeah, they'll back away, knowing they can't win 4v5, 4v2 now. Fiddlesticks is in no position to help.
Yeah, and I really think that in terms of skirmishes, TSM is a lot
Asher
weaker.
coming out. Olaf is about to approach.
Ash dies.
The flash Tibbers, that's a huge 400 goal shutdown onto the Annie. But it's a trade of ADCs. Definitely in the favor of TSM, that's a 400 goal shutdown onto the Ash, as opposed to the Jin, who's worth less than 300.
Yeah. Oh, Vladimir is in a no.
Uses his pull, gets away.
So yeah, but you can see why Ash would want to consider buying Merc Treads now, right? She just
Well, it did nothing. Flash Tibbers one-shot her.
Yeah.
Anytime there's an Annie in a game, it means the ADC is not going to have a good time.
Exactly.
And I think this is going to mean if TSM wants to get back into the play for this Annie, she's just upgraded to Merlamonicon, which is very good into the Vladimir.
I don't like the Morales here, I'm be honest. I think it's actually a really bad item choice. If you want to counter Vladimir, you should have Jin and Jax build Executioners. I think on Annie, you just want to kill people, right? So if you want to kill people, you should just go Oblivion Orb straight into like Death Tap or something. I think that the Morellonomicon, because the Morellonomicon itself doesn't give a lot of stats. The damage in Morellonomicon is all built into the Oblivion Orb. So by buying 1,400 gold in the Morellonomicon, by investing 1,400 gold to upgrade the Oblivion Orb into the Morellos, the only thing you're really getting is some AP from the Blasting Wand and healing reduction. So what I think is better, I think she should have just gone for a Large Rod for a lot more damage. But that's just me. Morellonomicon is a bad item, but that's okay.
Well, that'll be fixed in Season 11, where ADs are actually carries.
Yeah. And yeah, you can see Vladimir almost has his death cap. So he's going to be actually a monster. He's going to be doing so much damage.
Yeah. And again, that means the Jax will have a hard time even matching him as well.
Yeah. Especially because Jax, I believe, is going for Blade of the Rune King as a second item. So he'll take a lot of damage. He'll be very squishy, actually, compared to like other Jax builds.
Yep. And Darius is going for his Bruiser weight into the middle tank. I think he's going for
Death Stance. Yeah,
Death Stance, the second item.
I think Jax itemization, if he was gonna build, oh no, Jax is just going Death Stance. Never mind, Jax is also going Death Stance. I don't like that. I do not think that Death Stance is a good second item for Jax. I think it's much better to just get like.
Oh, and that's a flash by
Darius going in, arrow.
Darius destroyed. But will they get more than that? They got the Nautilus. They'll get the Jin.
Jin is dead. Yeah.
No.
Oh.
That's a disaster for TSM.
What? Yeah, it looked like that Darius ran it down for a second, but
yeah, no, Darius flashed onto them, but he knew his team was there to back him up, and they outdamaged, and so that he was able to both soak all the damage and direct all their attention, while the rest of the team was able to kill them all. And they're going directly for Baron, and we'll take it.
I mean, we were talking about BGAK having not a lot of engage, but I guess Darius flashing in with Ghost and his pull is one way to engage a fight, and that means that Baron will
enough. And with that, both bot side second tier and Baron will go the way of BGAK. And with this, it'll be an 8k gold lead, which is almost insurmountable for TSM to come back from.
Unless Andy can try more like 9k, right, after Baron?
And we're back off.
I don't think this TSM can do anything anymore. They're too far behind. It'll be a 9k
this game is over. So what do you want to see TSM do in the second game? to try and come back from this disaster of a first game.
Well, first of all, I want to see Nautilus take Ignite, because you can't fight against Nami properly without Ignite as a engaged support. So I want to see Ignite come out from Nautilus. I think overall they played it pretty well, but then they started to just fall really far behind for some reason in the bot lane, which was very odd to me.
And the gods are blessing. I think it's an Ocean Soul as well.
It is an Ocean Soul, yep.
So an Ocean Soul and a Darius, Olaf, and a Vladimir with a Nami means BGAK will never die.
I think Fiddle is close to dead here.
Yep.
Oh my, 1 HP on Fiddle, jeez.
Yep, and you can see that Jax is able to trade that for top turret, but it's really a small concession. Darius is going to head back to base, and then we'll be able to we'll halt that push.
Yep. I think, so the thing is, Fiddle didn't really get ganks off, right? Like, as Fiddle, what you really want to do is you want to hit level 6, and then you want to start, like, just camping.
I've seen Fiddle use his ultimate once.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And that was when he ran it down.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like generally in Fiddle you want to really camp the bot like bushes and just lane gank people. Like if you just, for instance, Jhin and Nautilus shove up to the enemy tower, then Fiddle makes his way into the bot lane side bush, and then as Ashe and Nami start to push the wave out a little more, Fiddle can just ult from the bush and just demolish them. I really wanted to see that happen with Fiddle, because Fiddle's such a strong ganker once he hits level 6, but really Fiddle's just been like farming and basically doing nothing. So that's been
even if he's farming, you can see the Olaf. He's beating him by
you can't outfarm an Olaf, right? Like as Fiddle states, there's no way you can outfarm Olaf. So you have
Demolish
to really...
proc coming through, doing half the turrets. Hell, then that'll be top tier second tier god.
I think Annie might be
coming out.
Oh, Ashe is dead. Is Ashe dead?
Ashe caught out.
And
yeah,
he'll
that
flash
is
over the wall. Annie will
flash.
USS, but nope, Ashe is dead.
And that is a shutdown going down.
But I don't think it matters. I think BGAK still wins.
Nami ultimate, they've caught out the Nautilus. Fiddlestick's running. The entire that's a Fiddlestick splash, and that's the dunk by the Darius. And they can look to end here.
That was a 4v5. BGAK just won a 4v5 without their fed Ashe.
Yeah, and you can see the Jhin ultimate doing absolutely no damage to the Darius. They can't. And here I think that BGAK can look to get at least inhib, if not more.
They can get at least 2 inhibs here for sure. They can just, once they're finished with this inhib, they can just run up to the top and get it. Oh, but Darius a little chunked out here. Fiddle will go in and absolutely nothing. I feel like the Fiddle pick is not working out.
No, it is not. What do you want to see differently in the jungle next game? Where do you want? Should they direct their attention? Because yesterday, again, they had success with the Nunu. Yeah, they brought the Nunu out, the same kind of early game pressure that the Olaf has. Do you think that you want to see that out to match the engage of the Olaf, or where do you want to see them direct their efforts?
I think the Fiddle is fine. It's just that it feels like DX is not quite sure how Fiddle works. So I think if maybe he should switch to champion that maybe something like, maybe he can play like Great. I don't actually know DX's champion pool, but I'm assuming that he's not a Fiddle main.
Yep. And crucially, if you look at the level disparity, Vladimir's 17, Annie's 15.
Yeah, Vladimir
Olaf is 16.
Vladimir is 4 levels up on Fiddlestick.
Fiddlestick is
5 levels up on Nautilus.
Yeah, and the bottom line is a 2-level gap as well. It is not looking good.
Just look at the item. Just look at the items on Vlad. 3 items already. How are you gonna kill this man? Oh, but Jhin is caught, and Jhin is dead, and Nautilus is also dead, and Fiddle is also dead.
Yep.
And
they pretended for Ashe.
the base is also dead. The top inhib is dead. Oh, Jax engaging onto Vladimir. But Vladimir's like,
2v1.
Nice engage. Nice engage.
Annie will use her stopwatch to avoid the pool.
And Vladimir is full HP. And the stun. The pool will come back in. Annie runs away, has no mana. Vladimir refuses to die, and
Yep. And if you'll notice that Fiddlesticks has completed one item, his jungle item. Apart from that, he has Seekers, Hunting Guys, and a Blasting Wand. Compare
And
that to
a
Olaf with
stopwatch,
Black
yeah.
Cleaver, Spirit Visage, full jungle item, and Hex Drinker.
Yeah, I mean, this
Yeah,
Vladimir is just insane too, right? Look at him. Look at this Vlad. He's just
yeah. And with
insane.
that, GG.
Yeah.
So we're going to turn it over to our commentators of Nicholas and Henry now, take you to game two. But this was just a complete destruction, and I'm hoping game two we can see some difference in terms of strategy by TSM to make up for this. But
Yeah.
as of now, I think we're going to sign off. It was a fun time commentating, and
Yeah.
yeah, have a good evening.